Hi, I'm an executive burnout coach. I help corporate women, particularly women in risk, start applying those great risk mitigation techniques they have into their own lives to mitigate their risk of stress, exhaustion, and overwhelm to continue to thrive. Prior to starting my coaching practice, I spent 24 years in the banking and finance industry, where I worked my way from teller at a small community bank to senior vice president of a $27 billion bank by the age of 30. I'd love to tell you I did everything right, but that would be a lie. Fortunately, I made a lot of mistakes along the way and learned a lot in the process. And now my goal is to help other women have even greater success and do it with a lot less stress and anxiety than I did. So, one of the best ways and greatest learnings I had was what we say to ourselves, right? I recently read the statistic that 70% of our self talk is negative. Let me say that again 70% is negative. If you had a customer rating or a satisfaction rating that was 70% negative, heads would be rolling, right? I know a lot of my audience work in the risk space, right? Dashboards would be flashing red, you know, jobs would be changing, staff would be changing. Seriously, nobody would be comfortable with a 70% negative rating in any area of your business. Yet, we go through life with 70% of our own thoughts being negative, and no dashboards are flashing yellow or red like they should be red if you're doing scorecards, right? So, how do we change that? That's what I want to talk about today. 3 simple tools you can use, right? Nothing complex. Life is hard enough. We don't need complex solutions. So, first, start your day with gratitude. Now, you may have 2 thoughts. One, every night I sit and write in my journal and I talk about what I'm grateful for. Great. This is non-negotiable. It's got to be in the morning. You got to start your day with the right mindset, right? And if your other thought is, must be nice, Virginia, to have that kind of time. We're back in the office. I can barely get myself and my kids out the door on time with everything we need and dressed. Please, I'm double checking if I put deodorant on every day. And you want me to take time to sit and be grateful? Yes. And if your mornings start like that, with, pardon my language, the shit show to get everybody out, awesome. You are in the best spot to start your day with some gratitude. Why? Think about it. Once you get everybody out, kids are at school, you're in the car or on the train on your way to the office. Whew. 1, you got everybody out. 2, you're grateful you're on time. If you drive to your office and you commute and you hit traffic because there's an accident, be grateful you're not in the accident. Right? In my 20s, when I got stuck in traffic, I'd be freaking out because I had a boss at that point in my career who was like, I was in a call center. If you were scheduled at 8, her expectation was, and she said, you are not walking in the door at 8. You are not getting coffee. You are not chit-chatting in the break room. You are at your desk. Your systems are up and you are ready to sign in and take calls at 8 o'clock. Scared the crap out of me. But think about it. Now, maybe not so much if you're in your call center, but I'm thinking most of my audience, you're managing the call center if that's what your space is. You can take your call from the car. You can send the text or email while you're stopped to say, hey, I need to push that back. I hit some traffic, right? Be grateful that technology has advanced. Be grateful you're not the one in the accident. One day I was stuck in traffic. It's probably, 17, 18 years ago. I was getting pissed off as I heard the traffic report. As I came up where the accident was, I saw the gentleman who was one of the cars in the 3-car accident. He sat next to me. He was my buddy. Thankfully, I saw him before I saw the car because it was totaled. He was not. That taught me a lesson. After that, I became grateful if I was in traffic because of the accident, that I wasn't the accident. Because even if you're not hurt, and you always hope nobody's hurt, you're still having a crappy day. You've got to deal with police reports, insurance reports, and claims, adjustments, body shops, maybe new car shopping and financing. You didn't have to deal with it. You lost 15 minutes while you were stuck in traffic. Be grateful. Ideally, you want to write your gratitude down, right? There are apps, there are journals, so you can find a tool. But if you don't have the time, okay. Don't let that be the reason you don't stop and say to yourself, I'm grateful for A, B, and C. I'm grateful that I did the laundry last night. I'm grateful that I'm not in the accident. I'm grateful that my 8 o'clock meeting got moved to 10. Whatever. I'm grateful I got a good night's sleep. I'm grateful I got a workout in. I'm grateful I had coffee at home and don't have to sit in the line. I'm grateful that the line at Dunkin' is moving quick. There's tons of things to be grateful for by 9 a.m. And it will make a difference in your mindset. Okay? So start your day with gratitude. 2, know your worth. All right? How many of us have had that experience where you forgot something, you hit reply to all, you accidentally shared your screen when you shouldn't have, you thought you sent the attachment, you didn't, you thought you had another day to send the report, you're late. And once you realize that, you start the barrage. Oh, I'm an idiot. How could I do that? They're going to fire me. My boss hates me. I knew I shouldn't be in this job. They're going to find out I'm a fake, right? All those thoughts, that negative 70%, that's where you hear them, right? But guess what? You're not an idiot. You're competent at what you do. You made a mistake. You're human. If you were not, you would not have gotten to the level you're at. You would not have received the multiple promotions you have. Go look at your LinkedIn profile if you can't remember, right? You're human. You made a mistake. Nothing is perfect. I have yet to see any deity on an org chart in corporate America. And that's the only place where there's perfection, right? Whatever your belief system is. So even if you report to the board of directors, they're not perfect. They make mistakes. If boards didn't make mistakes occasionally, companies would never, if they were perfect, there'd never be a bankruptcy. There'd never be a layoff. There'd never be a restructure because they would have made every decision correctly. That doesn't happen. It's life. We're human. You are human. You made a mistake. Odds are the reason you hit reply to all or didn't hit reply to all or missed the deadline because you're tired and you're not focused, right? Because you're beating yourself up. And if you're like, yeah, but I don't know how to get out of that, I can help you. That's probably why. It has nothing to do with your competency. It has to do with how you're feeling, right? You're human. Remember that. I'll give you an example. I'm a tea drinker. I fill my tea kettle with water and put out my mug and tea bag the night before so that as soon as I get up, I can get my caffeine rolling. This morning I got up, turned the tea kettle on, grabbed the fish filter, fed the fish, came up to do my meditation. I heard some funny noises. I finished. I go downstairs. Tea kettle empty. I forgot. As I'm walking the 4 feet to the sink to get water, I'm thinking, you idiot. You know what? Did you laugh? Because I laughed at myself when I realized. I go, how ironic is that? I'm giving a talk about improving our self-talk. And here I am starting to berate myself because I forgot to put water in the tea kettle. My house didn't burn down. The tea kettle didn't explode. And in another few minutes, I had my cup of tea. Is it the end of the world? I'm still here. So I share that, one, to give you a little humor for your Wednesday. And two, the thing is to catch yourself. When you see that you are starting to beat yourself up, stop. Remind yourself, it's a mistake. I'm human. Coach told me that years ago. She goes, Virginia, you're berating yourself. Are you human? I said, well, yeah, duh. So remember and learn from it. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn. Those were my best learnings in my career. The things that I messed up and got called out, I only did once, right? So remind yourself, okay, what did I learn here? Double check the senders before I send an email. Double check if that person is projecting or if I'm sharing my screen. Okay, not the end of the world. The more you become aware, the more you will have the experience like I had this morning, where I started to beat myself up and I caught it and I stopped and I laughed and I moved on. Okay, ready? So, gratitude, know your worth. They've obviously kept you for a reason, they've promoted you for a reason, and it's not because you were perfect. There is no perfect. Even systems aren't perfect. Go ask your IT department, they'll tell you. Night end jobs crash, systems fail, processes break down, computers get virus. So there is no perfect. You learn, you move on. Third tool, last one. I'd read Tony Robbins recommends to one of the ways to improve your self-talk is talk to yourself like you would a friend. Well, I don't know how you talk to all your friends. I know some of my friends that I've had since high school or grammar school can be really blunt with them. Maybe that's not what you need. Sometimes you need a friend to be blunt with you in that situation. But so if you really want to change that 70% and flip it so it's only 30% negative and 70% positive, talk to yourself like HR was sitting in the room. Yeah, think about it. Odds are you've sat through annual HR training on how to deal with colleagues. If you manage people, you got the extroversion, right? So hopefully you've never experienced the example they use is the jerk in the training, right? The one who just berates the staff member who made a mistake, calls him every name in the book, right? I had a manager who I was running a function that we brought in-house, loan review. Used to outsource it. I built it. It was about a year and a half old. An internal audit came in the first time. My report was satisfactory. It was green. It's green. I had 3 issues. You would have thought the OCC was shutting down our bank the way my boss reacted. We have to be perfect because we're judging people. I'm like, dude, you're not perfect. I hate to tell you. It's not the standard, right? Remember, though, you wouldn't come in and tear your staff member a new one because you know you'd end up in HR. You know that's not acceptable. You can't come in and tell somebody who made a mistake, who's doing their best. You give them feedback. You say, you know what? How about you consider this next time? Or how can I support you? What can we do differently? That's the conversation you would have with a peer, a colleague, an associate, even those who are underperforming. You would not walk in and go, you're an idiot. How did you even get this job? You're a moron. Absolutely not. Because you know you probably won't have your job long if you do. So why? If you wouldn't treat somebody in the office that way, why would you treat yourself that way? Because in reality, that's going to be some short relationship. Even if you work together for 20 years, the better part of your career, it's only a portion of your life. Your relationship with you is your entire life. You are the only person you are with forever. So treat yourself like that. Treat yourself like it's someone you're going to see every day and face every day. So if you wouldn't say it with your HR person sitting right there, don't say it to yourself. You deserve better treatment than the corporate standard of how to treat people. This isn't hard, right? It's change. If you are beating yourself up with the stories in your head all day, it's going to show up in the quality of your work. You're going to question yourself, doubt yourself. Nobody can lead that way. You get your facts, you make a decision, and you move on. And if it wasn't the right, you recalibrate, right? You do your best. Remind yourself that. Be as encouraging and supportive in your own thoughts to you as you would a struggling associate on your team. You deserve nothing less than that. Be grateful every morning, because as bad as your day might be, somebody would love to have that day. Somebody's in a worse situation, no matter what. So there's always something to be grateful for. And the more you do it, the more you'll find, right? So find a few minutes. If you need a technology app to help you build the habit, great. You need a pretty journal that you put on your desk in the office so that while your computer's opening up and your email is loading, take a couple minutes. While the Keurig is brewing your coffee, write number 2. Write 3 things. Say them to yourself. Heck, if you've got a long commute, you can come up with a ton. Challenge yourself. Know your worth. Remember, there's a reason they've promoted you. There's a reason they've given you this responsibility. There is a reason they've kept you. We live in an era of constant mergers and acquisitions. So even if you have a manager that can't deal with people issues, there was always an opportunity to just package you out. And they didn't. You made a mistake. Learn from it. Move on. There's a reason. And if you can't remember that, go look at your own LinkedIn profile. Keep a list of all of your accomplishments. There's a lot of ways to do it, but just remind yourself. And third, talk to yourself as if HR was listening. Because if you know that you would wind up potentially losing your job, you wouldn't say it. So don't even think it. The more you do it, the more habit it becomes. Just like my example this morning. I've been working at this for years. And I caught myself and stopped it. The more you become aware, the easier it is. So these all take some habits. They're not hard. You have to commit to them and you have to work on it. And if you're like, I get it. I know all of this, Virginia, but I've not been successful. Then let's talk. This is how a coach can help you. We help you find the right thing that works for you, as opposed to reading a book that's talking to everybody. I'll help you find the tool you need to make it a habit. I'll help create that accountability so it becomes a habit. And help you find the messages that you need to hear. Because what I need to hear to get me on the positive is going to be different. So let's find what you need. So if you're ready to make that change, I am here to help. I don't want you to have the same anxiety and stress I did in corporate. Life is too short for that. So for more tips like this, check out my website, virginiawalton.com. You'll find more videos, blogs, and the link to schedule time. Again, it's virginiawalton.com. Drop me a message on LinkedIn, Facebook, comment on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. And remember, I'm here to help. Life is too short to go through it without somebody holding your hand, right? So with that, be well.